following is a Hoop Ball presentation.
Hello and welcome to the Box Score Breakdown Show for Sunday. We are now on November the 4th. I am here with Adrian Benjamins to break down the games from this Sunday and also perhaps anything else that happened over the weekend. Maybe talk about Adrian's... Wait, did you have camping this weekend? I know you're a camper. Were you out there?
No camping this weekend. But funny story about that is that I bought a game this weekend called Red Dead Redemption Part 2. It's like this Western cowboy open world game. And oh my gosh, Neil, if you don't ever hear from me again, it's because I'm like in this game. So in this game, right, you could go hunting, you could go exploring. So my wife's trying to get me to book this camping trip. And I'm like, why am I going to book a camping trip when I can just camp in this game that I'm playing right now?
Yeah, I'm not a gamer myself. I'm a little old for that, but I understand when I see the ridiculousness of the abilities now and the connectivity. It's amazing. All right, what's on your mind? How'd you do in basketball this week? I have to say I had my first losing week in basketball.
Just shake it off, man.
I know.
Just shake it off, move on.
I didn't think this could happen, Adrian. I thought I was going to win every single week. Anyway, I lost in both my leagues, my head-to-head leagues. So
I'm not doing well either. I in my home league, which I knew I took a ton of risks, and I knew I was gambling to draft like a really fun team. I think I'm like 10 of 14, number 10 of 14 right now, and I started my draft with Donovan Mitchell and Victor Oladipo, who are not returning early round value. I gambled on guys like Kyle Anderson and Jonathan Isaac, and those just letting me down. So it's been rough going in that league. And then, yeah, man, I think I just in the Hoop Ball staff league, I'm down 4-5. And it looks like I'm going to just barely lose there, getting my butt kicked in our other league that we're playing in. So hasn't been a good week for me either, Neil.
Yeah, speaking of Jonathan Isaac, he got dropped in my home league. 12 team. Do you see him on the waiver wire elsewhere too?
Yes, in standard leagues, he is starting to hit the wire. Yeah. This ankle injury, it's the same ankle that kept him out of most of last season. He's having problems with that same ankle. It's really scary. And then even when he plays, not producing super well, even when he does play. So, in standard leagues, Neil, there's some pretty hot pickups. So I can't blame people for wanting to move on. I still believe that he can turn things around, but it's been a rough go, man.
And the interesting thing is, as we get into the box scores, they went to San Antonio and won on the road, an impressive victory. So clearly they didn't miss him in terms of at least not tonight. So some news and notes. You want to talk about Donovan Mitchell? You're one of your favorites this year. Still is going to be out tomorrow with a hamstring. This is a hamstring, right? I believe.
No, ankle.
Oh, ankle. I'm sorry. He had a hamstring and now it's an ankle. Like we were talking before we came on the podcast. Does not look serious though, right? From what you know, I'm sure you're following every single Donovan Mitchell thing, right?
Well, first of all, my Twitter feed just blew up with prayers for Donovan Mitchell, and I was like, oh my gosh, Neil, I was like having a nightmare. Like it looked bad, man. When he went down, it looked bad. He needed to be helped up. Couldn't even put weight on his ankle. Like, Neil, I mean, I was thinking the worst. Like it could be his season. It looked that bad. And then all of a sudden, he sprays some of that like soccer spray they put on that like fixes injuries. I don't know if you've ever seen that cold spray that they do, and then all of a sudden they're fine. They put a little tape, they put a little Robitussin on there, and all of a sudden he's back in the game. And I'm like, I thought this guy's season was about to be over. Now he's coming back into the game. Like, how is this possible? But man, I own Donovan Mitchell in a few leagues, my main home league. Feel like I dodged a bullet, Neil. but it's not all rainbows, man, because he missed the game. He's already listed out for Monday. He's already gotten off to kind of a slow start, Neil. So, I don't want anything to derail him, man. I need him to get back on track. So us Donovan Mitchell owners, we're a little bummed out, but it could have been a lot worse. What do you think, Neil?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you own them, you have to kind of hold. I think with Utah too, a lot of people thought they might be the third best team in the West, maybe breaking 50 wins this year. Right now, just kind of ho hum, sort of 500, I think, on the year, maybe one game below. So it's kind of been a slow start for them as a team as a whole. Got beat up in Denver last night. Yeah, Donovan Mitchell, he's someone I think sometimes his name sort of, I think, outweighs his name and his like enjoyment sort of outweighs his fantasy value. Like there's some guy, we can get into this later. I wrote down a couple things I want to talk about, but that's why I sort of did not end up with him on any of my teams. But I do love watching him play, and hopefully I'm sending my prayers his way. I want him to be in the league. It's so much more fun when he's out there playing. So hopefully all is not so bad. I guess one other news, Anthony Davis did come back after 2 games off. They got smoked on San Antonio last night. I didn't see the game, so I don't know if he had any lingering issues on that elbow, but it looks like his minutes were just fine, and I'm assuming he's as close to 100% as we can hope. Any other injury news you want to talk about?
Nope. Nothing else, man. I think we should jump into this. We got first Sunday a pretty decent slate of games tonight.
Right.
Should we go into this?
Yeah.
7 games. Yeah, man. Let's get cracking. Should we start with the Kings and the Bucks? This is the first game I got up. Do you want to go first, man?
Yeah, let's do the Kings and Bucks. I'll take Sacramento. Bielitsa had sort of a back to reality game, 4 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. This is not going to be, I shouldn't say back to reality. He's going to be good, but not as good as he's been playing. Just 2 for 8 shooting tonight on 21 minutes. It was a blowout, so a lot of these minutes are very misleading. Shumpert played 24 minutes, started, as well as Cauley Stein only got 19 minutes. Shumpert didn't have a great game, 5, 7, and 2. With no defensive stats, a 3-pointer. Cauley Stein in 19 minutes, 6 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and 2 of 6 on the free throw line. Did get 2 blocks, though, and a steal and 3 turnovers. De'Aaron Fox, 26 minutes in a blowout. He actually had a pretty good game still. 15, 6, and 6. 6 of 14 from the field, 3 3-pointers. Buddy Hield, again, solid game in just 24 minutes, 19 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist on 8 of 15 shooting. And why is this not showing my defensive stats? No defensive stats. That's why. And then off the bench, Justin Jackson played 25 minutes. He got 22 points. Most of this, I don't think, was relevant at the time. Bagley did get a solid 20 minutes, 11, 6, and 1. Hopefully, I don't know if this is going to be what's going to be for the year. It's going to change. And that's really it. A lot of guys got 10 to 15 minutes as well. This one's hard to take anything away from. The Sacramento's having a great road trip. I think they were due for one of these games just to go into a good team and get just get beaten up. And this happened today against Giannis, who I'm sure we'll talk on. I don't know if you saw some of those dunks today, Adrian. He was like dunking from like outside the restricted area. It was crazy. The guy's
He's such a monster.
I know.
Such a monster. And, super quick, I just want to touch, don't panic, you Willie Cauley-Stein owners. He was in foul trouble today. Had 5 fouls, and I think that's why we only saw him get 19 minutes. He's been really good to start the season. So, and as you said, the blowout, it was this game's kind of somewhat of an outlier. Don't read too much into this game. And Neil, any last thoughts on the Kings, or should I jump into the Bucks?
No, go right ahead. I guess the only thing is Bagley. We want him eventually. We think maybe he'll be much better than this. He gets more minutes. I guess if the Kings, though, go on a playoff push, I mean, that sounds ridiculous to say, but if that does happen, maybe he does stay this low. But if they do sort of look like they're no longer going to be in it, I think Bagley will get much more run.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think really hoping they unleash Bagley more as the season goes on. But man, 6-4 right now in a really loaded Western Conference. So really curious to see if they can keep this up. man, they may just go for whatever formula gets them wins, and that might mean Bagley stays in this reserve role. So it's a situation to keep an eye on. All right, Neil, I'm jumping into the Bucks. Got to start with the Greek freak, Giannis, doing work tonight. My goodness, 26 points, 11 assists, 15 rebounds. Just a gaudy triple-double here. 8 of 11 from the field. He even gave you a three-pointer tonight. 9 of 12 from the line. Oh, my gosh. This guy is just amazing. You got to be ecstatic if you drafted Giannis this season. Nice game from Brogdon. 13 points, 3 assists, 4 rebounds. Bledsoe doing his thing in just 22 minutes, put up 17 points, 6 rebounds, assists. Middleton with 12 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. Just really nice, well-rounded game from everyone here. Their bench, man, they have 1, 2, 3, 4 guys in double figures off the bench. Ilyasova with 15, Henson with 10, Snell with 12 points. Connaughton put up 13 points. This team has looked great. Neil, I heard earlier today that they're the number 1 3-point shooting team in the NBA. They had 13 total 3-pointers tonight, which really surprises me because when you look at the roster, you really don't see any elite 3-pointers on this, or 3-point shooters on this team. So what a great game from the Bucks. And man, they're 8-1 to start the year. They are going to finish up at the top of the Eastern Conference. Man, they look great. What are your thoughts on the Bucks, Neil?
Well, I'll push back on you that elite 3-pointers. They do have a guy named Chris Middleton who is up there. I think he's among the elite 3-pointers. And a couple other guys who can knock him down, like Lopez at center, Bledsoe, Brogdon, even Ilyasova off the bench. But you're right. They're not like someone you think of as like a Steph Curry, Splash Brothers backcourt. Yeah, I guess my takeaway is I hate when I have a team scores 144 points and the stats aren't even more gaudy, you know? I like to see it even be higher, but when it's a blowout, guys are going to rest and they'll still put up great numbers. Yeah, not much else to take away from this.
All right, man, let's keep rolling. Let's move on to the next game. Next game I got up are the Knicks and the Wizards. You want to take us into this one?
Yeah, sure. Then the Knicks, we're trying to figure out how this is going to play out with this new rotation. Ntilikina, start with him. He's probably my favorite player on their team. 23 minutes, 6 points, 1 rebound, 4 assists. Just took 7 shots, missed all his 3-pointers. Did have 2 blocks, though. Damian Dotson, another one I'm keeping a close eye on. 31 minutes, 11 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. I'm looking for a 3-and-D guy. This guy, I don't know if he's going to fit the criteria because tonight no threes and no D. Vonleh only played 10 minutes, got in foul trouble. Just 2 points, 4 rebounds. Mitchell Robinson, a center that we had talked about coming in this year's rookie class, 10 points, 6 rebounds, 4 from the line, good to see, in a block. And then Tim Hardaway Jr. struggled tonight, just 7, 4, and 4, went 2 for 10 from the field, 2 of 4 from the free throw line, and didn't get much done. So another game that was a little one-sided. Hazonia got a lot of time, 25 minutes. Cantor, you like to see this, in 24 minutes went 18 and 12. Hazonia, I'll just say, went 10, 8, and 3, but he's someone that I don't trust yet, even though he also had 3 steals. Moutier, I don't think he's worth owning. This guy that you mentioned, I think it's Alonzo Trier. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but he is looking good. I think for deeper leagues, he should be owned 9 and 2 tonight. But he looks good out there, and he's playing decent minutes. So I think like in 16 teams or deeper, he should be owned, or that's what I would own him. Trey Burke had 20 minutes and had a decent line, 13, 2, and 3. But the one takeaway I'm seeing is I like Trier going forward as in a deeper league. I don't really care for Burke or Moody anymore. And then Hazonia is a watch for me. And Dotson. I'm going to watch those 2 guys.
So I got a couple thoughts. I'm glad you mentioned Trier, man. What a great story with this guy. undrafted rookie, Neil, and just exploded during preseason. I think they just brought him in for like a training camp preseason contract, and then earned his way onto the team, and now a solid rotation guy. He's so aggressive, very athletic. I think Coach Fizdale's already talking about kind of developing the kids, and I think he's part of that group, and I think we're going to see a lot more of him. I already went and grabbed him in some deep dynasty leagues, and I'm excited about it. And I think, as you mentioned, in deeper leagues, probably needs to be added. Real quick, just want to mention Tim Hardaway Jr. It looks like he suffered a lower back injury in this one, was able to come back, but I would keep an eye on that, man. Backs are tricky. Tim Hardaway Jr. has a history of injury issues. So I'm keeping an eye on that. And then just want to note real quick, you were kind of mentioning some like guys who kind of are on the fringe of pickups. Kevin Knox is really close to coming back. I think they want to develop him and kind of tank as the season goes, and they want to kind of develop they want to advance his development and kind of push that. So I'm not really looking like Vonleh, and you mentioned Dotson. I'm kind of curious if these guys are going to get really hurt when Knox gets back. And then last thing, Mitchell Robinson was a really popular pickup. Last game, he exploded with a really nice game, and he was a real popular ad. I was able to beat out a lot of people in my home league. I had to put in a big bid on him, so I'm really hoping he pans out for later in this year. All right, Neil, if you don't have any other thoughts, I'm going to move on to the next team, which is the Washington Wizards.
Yeah, and good point for bringing up Knox. I that's a great point about. I forgot that he is their guy. I mean, along with Robinson, they're 2 first-round picks. So we'll see. I'm sure Dotson will take a hit at the very least, and maybe Vonleh as well.
And it sounds like Knox is very close. So I'd expect him back sometime this upcoming week for sure. Okay, I'm going to move on to the Wizards, Neil. It has not been pretty for them, as they have a 2-7 record. They must be pretty excited to get this win here. I'm going to start with John Wall because looked pretty good tonight with 26 points, 5 steals, 7 assists, 2 rebounds, 3 threes, shot 9 of 16 and 5 of 7 from the line. But you got to be pretty happy with this game from him. Bradley Beal, beautiful game from him. 22 points, 4 blocks from Beal. That's really nice. 3 assists, 8 rebounds. He only made 1 3, which is a little disappointing. Took 7 of them usually he's much better there, but you're still pretty happy with this line. 7 of 14 from the field, 7 of 8 from the line. It's a nice game from him. Neil, Dwight Howard is back, and 31 minutes, put up 10 points, 10 rebounds, a steal, a block. So, doing his thing, a double-double. You like to see more blocks here. 2 of 4 from the line. We know that's not a strong suit, but we'll take this line. Still coming back from missing most of the beginning of the season. Keith Morris with 16 points, 2 blocks, a steal, 5 assists. 5 of 14 from the field's not that great, but he did shoot a nice 6 of 6 from the line. We'll take that. Neil, Kelly Oubre filling in for Otto Porter, who's out with injury. I went with Oubre in some lineups tonight. It wasn't great with just 9 points in 24 minutes, a block, a steal, 4 rebounds. I was hoping for more. He's had some pretty good games to start the season. I guess tonight it was more Jeff Green. 27 minutes. He put up 14 points, 2 blocks, 9 rebounds, shot 5 of 13, but was 4 of 4 from the line. So we'll take that. Not too much else from the bench. I'm not too sure what's going on with Otto Porter, but I don't expect him to miss too much time. What are your thoughts on this team, Neil?
Yeah, I mean, my one takeaway is good to see them get a win. Because my worry is that if this keeps going south, maybe the coach is gone, and then there's like a shakeup. Although the rotation seems pretty much set, but I just don't think anyone there is happy. Is what I'm I mean, so far the stats are fine from Wall and Beal and Markeith. It had a saw a line tonight with Otto out. And Dwight, Dwight had I don't know. I haven't seen him play with this Wizards team yet, but he's not known for his chemistry. So my main concern is if this goes south badly, like they start to go from 2-7 to like 3-15, and then they lose their coach, what happens then? But I think the big guys are safe. That's where maybe we see Austin Rivers gets a bigger role or Jeff Green. But right now, that's all I take away.
And hey guys, Otto Porter is day-to-day with a bruised left big toe. Sounds like it's not going to be serious. I would expect him back in the lineup very soon. Neil, should we move on to the next one, man?
Yeah, let's go. I got Philadelphia, Brooklyn.
Do it.
Okay, Brooklyn looking like a pretty decent team this year. They knock off the Sixers 122-97. And also because of this loss, I'm putting Milwaukee as the third best team in the East right now. I'm having them ahead of Philadelphia. Anyway, Covington, 29 minutes, 4 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist. One of those nights for him that he gets every so often. Dario Saric he's still, I don't think he should really be owned in anything but 10-team leagues. 14 points, 3 rebounds, 3 of 6. They go 8 of 8 from the free throw line. Embiid had a solid game in 32 minutes, 16 points, 15 rebounds, 4 assists, a block on 4 of 8 shooting, and 8 of 10 from the free throw line. Fultz, still not really producing much. 9 points, 4 rebounds. And then Ben Simmons, 20 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, just 4 for 9 from the free throw line, but he did have 4 steals, but 5 turnovers. Adrian, can you guess where Ben Simmons is in 9-cat, what his ranking is?
In 9 category, man, I know he's had some bad turnover games. I know there was a game he went up against Kawhi Leonard, and I think he had like 10 turnovers. So I'm going to say he's like outside of 75.
Oh, that's great. He's 94.
Okay.
Yeah, he's 94, and he's 50 in 8-cat. So even with these popcorn stats, he's still not coming back to second or third round value where many people took him. But I think if you want to trade him, you could probably get much higher value than is actually producing because of his name recognition and because of the scoring and assists and rebounds. Anyway, just thought that's interesting to note. Any thoughts from you on Philadelphia?
Yeah, no thoughts from me here, man. I think you pretty much covered it. I'm going to move on to the next team. I'm going to talk about the Brooklyn Nets. And, man, I got to start with Karis LeVert, just continuing to have the breakout season. And I think this guy so far is the front runner for most improved player. 20 points, 4 steals, 2 assists, 5 rebounds, looking pretty good here. Shot 8 of 20, but did have a 3 and 3 of 4 from the line. Pretty good game from him. Joe Harris with 11 points, a steal, 3 assists, 3 threes tonight from Harris. That's nice. Really happy to see this, Neil. Jared Allen, 15 points, 2 blocks, 10 rebounds, a steal. Just really happy for him to get his points up. I'm not worried about his blocks and rebounds, but I'd love to see him score a little bit more. So this is great to see. Also helping you out with the shooting, 5 of 7 from the field, 5 of 6 from the line. It's pretty good. D'Angelo Russell continuing his up and down year with 21 points, 6 assists, 1 steal, 10 of 21. That's man, took the most shots out of anyone from this team. 1 of 6 from downtown tonight. Didn't go to the line, but you'll take this from D'Angelo Russell. Neil, one thing that's been kind of concerning is the last few games D'Angelo Russell was benched in the fourth quarter. So nice to see him get 25 minutes in this one. I watched a little bit of it, and I believe he did get minutes in the fourth quarter. So hoping he can start trending upward. Neil, a guy I got to talk about real quick. I got a couple questions, actually one in particular on Twitter. Should I pick up Rondé Hollis Jefferson? And the answer, this was a day ago, I said, absolutely, go get him. Tonight, 30 minutes, 21 points, 3 assists, 6 rebounds. And Neil, the funny thing, he didn't even have a defensive stat, which is usually what I usually count on him for. Didn't have any steals, didn't have a block, but really nice game from him. Shot a beautiful 9 of 14, 3 of 5 from the line. Happy to see that. Dinwiddie doing his thing off the bench, 12 points with 8 assists. Just doing enough to stay ownable. And not too much else to talk about here, Neil. What are your thoughts on the Nets, man?
Yeah, the biggest one here is the Rondae Hollis Jefferson. He was coming off the bench, which he still is, but tonight he got 30 minutes. And Dudley only 15. I expect him, if not to start, at least to have a lot more minutes than Dudley. So this is great to see. I can't believe he was out there in the league. But I would hop on him in a second. I think he's going to be somewhere going forward, I would say inside the top 100. May not get inside top 70, but he's going to be good. That's my thoughts on Brooklyn. Anything else you want to add?
I'm glad you said that about Hollis Jefferson's ranking. In my rankings, I've got him around that 100 range, but on some big name sites, Neil, I've seen him ranked as high as 85 for rest of season. So I think if he's still in some standard leagues, he's still floating because he started the year hurt. So if somehow he's still out there, I would run to go grab this guy. All right, man. Should we move on? What's the next game up?
I think the next game is Orlando San Antonio. Orlando goes in and wins 117-110. Aaron Gordon finally had a good game. He's I wrote this down. He is 116th in 9-cat leagues and 98th in 8-cat. Tonight, they get 26 points, though, 8 rebounds on 11 and 20 shooting, 4 3-pointers, a steal. Can you help me pronounce this name? Do you know who I'm looking at? Wes? Oh, my God. I'm going to totally butcher it. I'm just going to say he only played 14 minutes. I'm not going to talk about it. Okay. Vucevic played 32 minutes, 13 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. He's having a phenomenal year. A block and a steal. And Augustine, someone who's probably out there on your waiver wire, but it's so hard to trust. Tonight, 18 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, 6 of 10, including a 3-pointer. Fournier had a decent night, 16 points, 1 rebound, very good night, 7 assists, 3 steals, and 2 3-pointers. Off the bench, Terrence Ross has been, I think, a pickup for deeper leagues. I know we might have already talked about him tonight. Played 31 minutes, 17 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 3-pointers. One of these points 3 guys that you can kind of find out there if you need that stat category. That's really it. Oh, Mo Bamba actually had a pretty decent game. Double-double with 12 points, 11 rebounds, and a block. My takeaway from this is hopefully this is a sign of things to come for Aaron Gordon, because if you drafted him, certainly it was before 98th. And Augustine is still a watch for me. He is still not really rosterable, but is getting 26 minutes a game. So we'll see. We'll see if he has any value going forward.
I am really getting curious about DJ Augustine, Neil. I've seen him on the wire in some 12-team standard leagues, and games like this are kind of moving the needle for me. I was one of the guys who actually thought he could be put up some late round value coming into drafts. And so I drafted him in a few leagues, dropped him, and now I'm kind of wondering, did he just start slow? Because this is a really nice line from him tonight, but still skeptical. But I may, in some leagues, Neil, I'm struggling. I got some dead weight I can drop in some leagues. I might pick him up to see. It's just his upside is so low, but I really need help, and there's not much to pick up. So I might grab him in 1 or 2 leagues where he's available. And not much else. You covered everything else, Neil. I'm going to jump into the Spurs. Start with DeMar DeRozan. Man, I feel like his move to the Spurs has actually kind of helped him. And when we saw Dejounte Murray go down, it kind of felt like they decided to make him the primary ball handler and main playmaker on this team. And we've seen his assist numbers just jump up. 5 tonight to go along with 25 points, 2 steals, 7 rebounds, 9 of 16 from the field, added a 3, 6 of 6 from the line. Great game from him. LaMarcus Aldridge with 14 points. Didn't have a defensive stat, which is kind of a bummer. 3 assists, 6 rebounds, 6 of 14 from the field, 2 of 2 from the line. Forbes filling in the backcourt. Good scoring game, 13 points with 2 assists, 1 rebound. Actually, he shot 5 of 13, so that's not pretty. But he did have 2 threes and was perfect from the line, 1 of 1 from the line. So we'll take that. Really nice production from the bench, Neil. Patty Mills with 16 points. And I believe it's like the second game in a row that Patty Mills has looked good. Played 32 minutes. I'm keeping my eye out on that situation because I'm in some deep leagues and I need some help. I believe he's available. So keeping my eye out on that. Pau Gasol with 12 points, 2 blocks, 5 assists, 8 rebounds, a 3, 4 of 7 from the line, 3 of 6 from the line, 4 of 7 from the field. You'll take that from him. Bellinelli with 15 and 2 threes. That's doing his thing. Not too much else here, Neil. What are your thoughts on the San Antonio Spurs?
Yeah, let me ask you this question because I'm debating this too. So one of my leagues, all my point guards are hurt. So I've got and not to fall too far behind. I need to put in a point guard, and I'm debating between Patty Mills and DJ Augustine. And neither one sounds very good to me, but I don't know which one is going to be better.
This is gonna sound crazy because I feel like the reason why I said this is gonna sound crazy is because I'm about to say DJ Augustine feels safer, and the words Augustine and safer together should not go together. But the reason why is just because he's starting. The minutes feel safer for Augustine than they do. Neil, I believe Derek White is very close to returning for the Spurs. And when he does, he's going to be the guy in that backcourt. And we're going to really see Patty Mills and Forbes drop off. So I also should mention, I better not forget this, Rudy Gay missed this game, I believe with a minor injury. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I don't expect him to miss too much time. What do you think, Neil?
Well, that's unfortunate with Gay. I'm glad you brought that up. And then also talking about DeMar DeRozan. Yeah, he got a really bad. This is really great for him. I'm really happy for him because he was, pushed out of Toronto. He had no idea. All of a sudden, they had the opportunity to get Kawhi, and they made the right decision for the organization. But just personally, it must have crushed DeRozan. So good job him laying up in a good spot and seeing him flourish this year in that system. I'm going to go. Anything else?
Wait, real quick. You just mentioned DeRozan. Man, what a blessing in disguise it ended up being. Neil, I believe in 9 category leagues, he's putting up first round value. I believe he's the number 12th player in 9 cat right now. And I believe it's mostly this spike we've seen with assists, man. And I'm telling you, this could have been the best thing that happened to him moving to San Antonio. So, yeah. Great news for DeMar DeRozan. All right. Sorry about that.
No, that's a good point. Okay, Phoenix. Memphis loses to Phoenix 102-100. I'll take the Memphis side. Conley, 26 minutes, just 26 minutes tonight. 12 points, a rebound, 5 assists. Did have 4 fouls, so was a little bit in trouble. Same with Jaren Jackson. He got in foul trouble early, but never really played a lot of minutes going forward. He got 3 fouls early. 4 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, a block. Marcus Gasol, another pedestrian night, 7 points, 8 rebounds, an assist, a block, 2 steals. Garrett Temple, this guy just doesn't get much usage. 36 minutes, but only 8 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, no defensive stats, and a turnover. Kyle Anderson, another disappointing game. Did have 10 points, but only 5 rebounds, an assist, and a block, 3 turnovers. Off the bench, we saw a couple good performances. Dylan Brooks got 17 points. Not much else, but did get the score. And then Shelvin Mack, someone I was looking up, Adrian. He's still not very good in terms of player rater, but he had some decent games like this. 21 points, 4 assists, a rebound, 4 steals. So maybe he'll pop up a little bit, but he's still outside the 150 mark, I believe. Although he's averaging close to 26 minutes a night. What I'm taking away from this is, how does Memphis lose to Phoenix? But anyway, not much else to say. I guess you're holding if you own all these guys. I would buy low on Jaren Jackson. He's right around the 100th mark in both 8 and 9 cat. I think if there are Jackson owners that are frustrated because he's had a few games now in a row that haven't been stellar, maybe you can scoop him up. But other than that, not much else for me to take away.
I am one of these frustrated JJJ owners, Neil, only because I've got such high expectations. As soon as JaMychal Green went down and Jaren Jackson was named the starter, I thought immediately of like the second coming of Michael Jordan or something. So I'm so disappointed. He is having major issues with foul trouble, which I guess is to be expected for a young rookie, but let's hope he gets it figured out. And as you said, even though he hasn't been setting the world on fire, still putting up some decent value, still in the top 100. And we know that he's capable of so much more. So you got to stick with him. One last guy I just want to mention real quick. I've seen Kyle Anderson get dropped and picked up. I myself actually dropped him in a league and then picked him up again. And man, this is a little bit of encouraging to see him get 10 points here. The minutes have been there with him lately. So I'm going to stick with him and hope that he gets better as the season goes on. All right, man. Oh, Shelvin Mack, real quick. You mentioned him. Yeah, when you look at the player rater, not great, of course, because he wasn't even, I don't even know if he was playing to start the year, but he has been pretty good the last few games and definitely got the hot hand and definitely not afraid to shoot, man. He fires away. So, man, if you're looking for a streamer right now in deep leagues, especially I play in a ton of 14-team leagues, I might be picking this guy up, man. I think he's worth a look. All right. I'm going to move on, Neil, to the next team, the Phoenix Suns. And where to start? I'm going to start with Devin Booker. 25 points, no defensive stats, 7 assists, but 9 of 10 from the line, 2 of 8 from downtown, 7 of 17 from the field. Hit a big shot at the end of this game to help them win. Just it's a nice game from Booker. Yeah, it looks like Canaan is the guy right now in that backcourt. 13 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds, 3 threes tonight, 4 of 7 from the field. You'll take that from him. Trevor Ariza, man, having a pretty good game here tonight. 16 points, 2 steals, 5 assists, 9 rebounds, filling it up all over with 2 threes. Perfect 4-4 from the line. You got to be pretty happy from this line for Ariza. DeAndre Ayton's been a little disappointing. Played 37 minutes and took 4 shots. I mean, come on, man. This is supposed to be your cornerstone big man. You're one of the guys that you're building your franchise around. So I'm hoping they can get him more involved, run more plays for this guy. 9 points, the 2 blocks and 3 steals is beautiful for a guy who coming into this year wasn't supposed to be a good defender. So you love those defensive stats. 6 assists, 8 rebounds. Let's hope he can get these points up and start putting up some good lines. Was drafted really high this year, so I know we all have some high expectations. Neil, the surprise guy I got to talk about is Mikal Bridges. 26 minutes off the bench for 14 points, 2 steals, 1 block, 1 rebound, 4 threes tonight. Has had a couple good games lately, and now he's like his last good game, he was on my radar. Now he's kind of approaching this pickup in deep leagues territory. So I might be grabbing him in quite a few leagues, Neil. Not too much else to talk about here. What do you think?
Yeah, Mikal Bridges, I think, is on the hot list. Should definitely be, even for 12-team leagues, you should have him on like a watch list because this guy has the potential. He's now had 20-plus minutes in several games and can score a lot of points in a few amount of minutes. So I do like him a lot. I think he's going to be part of this future of the Suns and maybe even the present. Yeah, Ayton struggled a bit tonight. Like you said, he didn't get many shots, but he has been, I think, in the 30s. So I think he's doing okay. And then Isaiah Cannon, I don't know how to pronounce his name properly. If he didn't shoot well tonight, it would have been a dud. Just 2 assists and 2 rebounds, no defensive stats. He's not someone I think you should pick up. I would still have Patty Mills or what was it, the guy from Orlando over Cannon as a filler for point guard. Then we should also mention that the one news, Tyson Chandler is got bought out and is expected to go to the Lakers. So that will free up time maybe for Richaun Holmes. We'll see.
Yes.
Did get 11 minutes tonight, 5 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. I will say that if Ayton ever does get injured, just pick up Richaun Holmes without even thinking twice because he's a stat machine once he's in there.
Love that take, man. Great take. Yes. All right. Let's move on to the next one, man.
Yeah, 2 games left. Minnesota, Portland. This one had disaster written all over it, and it sort of happened. Portland 111, Minnesota 81. No Jimmy Butler. Not sure who decided to sit him tonight. Himself, his agent, is some family member, the team. I don't know. Anyway, I do know that Karl Anthony Towns does better when he's not there. Tonight he had 23 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Only played 25 minutes because none of these guys played in the fourth quarter. Wiggins, 17 points, a rebound, an assist, no blocks, 3 steals. Taj started off strong, ended up with an okay line, 8, 8, and 2 with a steal and 2 steals and a block. Okogie, not too much tonight, 6, 3, and 1, no defensive stats. And I don't know about this Tyus Jones. A lot of people wanted him to be the starter. I watched him play the other night against Golden State. He did not look good at all. He's taken some terrible shots, and I think this season he's averaging just 33% from the field. So I wasn't impressed when the games I've seen him play. Tonight, just 4 points, a rebound, and 4 assists, 1 steal. Even if Butler leaves and Rose is hurt, I'm not sure how much value he's going to have. I'd rather have Okogie between the two, or Kogi. And then off the bench, just a smattering of minutes, but nothing really here. It was just a disastrous night for Minnesota, aside from maybe Towns having a decent line.
Just want to note that Jimmy out for rest, as you mentioned, but also Derrick Rose out with right ankle soreness. Jeff Teague out with a knee issue. So, we're seeing Okogie get 30 minutes. And as you mentioned, Tyus Jones getting 27 minutes. So let's hope this team can get healthy, man. All right, not too much else here. I'm going to move on to the Trailblazers. I'm going to start with Damian Lillard, 18 points, 5 assists, a steal, only 1 3, 6 of 16 from the line, 5 of 6. That's an okay game from him. CJ McCollum with 16 points, 2 steals and assists, 3 rebounds, 1 3, 7 of 14 from the field, 1 of 1 from the line. We'll take that. Nurkic is showing a pulse here. 19 points, 12 rebounds. It's a big double-double with 1 block, 2 assists, 8-11 from the field. You love that. And didn't hurt you too bad from the line with 3 of 4. So pretty game from him. Leonard getting some providing some help off the bench with 15 points and 12 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, a 3. It's a pretty good game from him. Collins, a little disappointing with only 18 minutes, but still gave you 11 points with 2 rebounds and a 3, was a perfect 6 of 6 from the line. So you'll take that in limited minutes. Not too much else to talk about here, Neil. What are your thoughts on the Blazers?
Yeah, well, this game's hard because of the blowout nature again, but the one disappointing, it's good to see Nurkic having a solid year, but CJ McCollum, what's up with him? He's been really struggling this year. Tonight did go 7 of 14, but he is, I think it's around 100 in the player radar. 16, 3 and 1, like you said, and just did have a couple steals, but he has been really struggling this year, only shooting 42%, and just not really giving you the stats you expected. But Lillard is the top 5 in the 8 cat, I believe. So he's been dominating. I still think you want to hold on to Zach Collins if you own him. This game is a little out of hand, which is why Leonard and Turner got more minutes than him, I believe. And Jake Layman, I'm not sure what to do about him. It's so weird.
Yeah, I'm just ignoring him for
Yeah,
now.
I think he's just like he's there on the stats page and the starting, but you don't even see him. Anyway,
Yep.
one last game. You ready to go on?
Let's do this.
Yes, I know you've got a family to take care of. Toronto goes into LA, wins 121-107. This was I don't know if you saw this, but early on this was a ridiculously one-sided game. It was like 40-10 at one point. Toronto, so the score is a little misleading. I'm going to start with and Kawhi sat out, which is interesting. Anyway, Kyle Lowry had a great game. 21 points, 6 rebounds, 15 assists, 2 for 2 from the line, 3 3-pointers, 2 steals and a block. I love this guy. Serge Ibaka, the big storyline from tonight. 34 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists. I think he had 20 points in the first quarter. 15 of 17 from the field, 3 of 3 from the free throw line, 1 of 1 from the 3-point line, 2 steals, but no blocks. Of all the stat categories you expect from Ibaka, he does not get. Siakam, someone who I desperately picked up, and I will start every time, and certainly when Kawhi's not playing. 16 points, 13 rebounds, 3 assists, and did have a steal. OG Anunoby, a great defensive player, but not really good fantasy player. 7 points, a rebound, 2 assists on 24 minutes. Danny Green having a solid night. 15 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 of 8 from the 3-point line, 2 blocks. He is hanging in that top 50 range, and it's just really nice to see. Van Fleet had 23 minutes off the bench. Valanciunas, this is the one we talked about between him and Ibaka. Tough to predict. Tonight, just 17 minutes, but did get 14 and 8 with 1 assist, a block, and a steal. So not a bad night, but if he gets 17 minutes, it's hard to get a really good night. So them's the breaks. Anyway, what are your thoughts on Toronto?
Yeah, really disappointed about Valanciunas because he had such a big preseason and was just looking so good. I thought it would be Ibaka that would be the guy on the out, but as of right now, it's Valanciunas according to minutes. But it is a good sign to see him still put up some nice numbers in limited minutes. And man, I just want to say, as you mentioned, Ibaka 34 and 10, but just wow, man, great game from him. And man, this team is looking really good. The East, the East has taken a lot of criticism these past seasons as being so weak. The East is going to be really fun this year with the Bucks, who we talked about earlier, and the Raptors and the Celtics. And man, it is going to be pretty fun to watch how this all shakes out in the East. All right, man, you covered everything else. Real quick, I am ecstatic about Danny Green. He's just saving me in my home league where I just struck out on small forwards, Hazonia, Kyle Anderson. I can't even remember the other 2 small forwards I drafted because I already dropped them. So Danny Green is like saving me in my small forward spot. So awesome, man. All right, I'm going to go to the Lakers. I'm going to start with Kuzma. 24 points tonight, 2 assists, 5 rebounds. Didn't have a 3, but shot a nice 10 of 16, 4 of 5 from the line. I think Kuzma is going to start rolling throughout the year. So already owned everywhere, but as a Laker fan, man, I'm excited to see the evolution and the improvement of this guy. Brandon Ingram with 16 points, didn't really do much else. Didn't have a block and 3 assists, a rebound. Didn't have a 3, so I'm hoping to see more from him. LeBron James with 18 points, a block, 6 assists, 2 rebounds, 2 threes, 6 to 12 from the field, 4 to 7 from the line. We'll take that. A pretty good game from Lonzo Ball because he's been a little disappointing in games from last week. So really happy to see 12 points with 2 steals, 4 assists, 9 rebounds, just filling it up all over. Also added 2 threes tonight, shot a nice 5 of 7 from the field. So we'll definitely take that from him. And JaVale McGee, Neil, new Laker Hall of Famer. I can't wait to see the statue out in front of Staples Center when I go to the next game, man. 8 points, 2 blocks, 2 assists, 6 rebounds. 6 of 6 from the line. I didn't know he was such a good free throw shooter. A little disappointing scoring here. He did only make 1 of 6 from the field, but man, you got to be really happy with what you've seen from JaVale McGee. Neil, I've seen a couple people freaked out. I got a lot of friends that are Laker fans freaking out about the Tyson Chandler news that Tyson Chandler, who was just bought out from the Suns, is now going to sign on with the Lakers. I am not worried at all. JaVale McGee is still the guy. I watched a ton of Laker games. They look so good when McGee's on the court. And then the moment JaVale McGee goes to the bench, the Lakers get destroyed. So they are really desperate for a backup big, and that's exactly what Tyson Chandler is going to be, a backup big. Hart, man, really disappointed. In 30 minutes, just shot 1 of 5 in 30 minutes. The usage was low tonight. Let's hope he can turn things around. Rondo, a lot of people drafted guys like Rondo and KCP. I don't think it's happening for them. That's all I got, Neil. What do you think about this?
Yeah, even Josh Hart, I think might be droppable. He's just out of the starting rotation now, and we'll see if there's an injury, to one of those guys, one of those wing players. Maybe he gets back in there, but right now he's just not doing much. And even on 30 minutes tonight in a blowout, he didn't really do much. I will say, yeah, McGee. We never expected McGee to get 35 minutes a night, so we know he has some health issues and. He's more of a 22 to 26 minute guy top. So I think that's where he'll be. And I think then Tyson Chandler will play the remaining those minutes and he'll do just fine in a backup role. And if you need rebounds and field goal percentage, he can help you there, but perhaps maybe a block or two, but not much else. If you want to take a speculative ad on Tyson. Other than that, it was one of those games that got out of control quickly. So everything's a little screwy on the stat line tonight. Any last thoughts before we on anything else before we sign off? I know it's past your
I'm good,
deadline.
Man.
Are you okay?
Sunday night, man. I'm good, but real quick, you nailed it with that JaVale McGee thought, man. It's just he was never expected to play big minutes, and they need someone to back him up. So JaVale McGee's been putting up great value in just like that mid to lower 20-minute range. So I don't see that changing at all. Do not worry if you have JaVale McGee. He's going to be fine. And Neil, just excited moving on to week 4 of the season. So we're starting to roll, man. I am ecstatic for this upcoming week.
Yeah, exactly. It's gone by so fast, so quickly. It's weird. It's like all the summers, like it drags on, then all of a sudden it starts, and it's just just zooms by. Anyway, we'll be back on tomorrow night. We've got a lot of games, I believe. So we'll talk to you. We'll be back on then. Hit us up on Twitter. I am at Ball with Neil, Neil. He is at Adrian Benjamins. Adrian, anything last thing you want to say before I wrap this up?
Just want to say thanks to you guys for listening. Hit us up on Twitter, as Neil said, and we'll see you tomorrow.
All right, everyone. Yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
This has been a Hoop Ball presentation.